behave?
I'm
Well,
gonna
I was actually, cutting it fine as well, because I was in the middle of doing a website,
right, okay.
playing and working, then realised it was nearly 2 o'clock. I thought, oh, better.
Indeed, it is. It is just past 2 o'clock, and to everybody who's joined us and been watching for the last 10 minutes, we hope you've enjoyed our pre-show. This is the live show, and everything's working now. I can hear Barbara can hear me, and hopefully you can all hear us. And thank you to Stephen for helping out, and to Skip for the sense of humour. Right, good afternoon, Barbara.
Hello, Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. And this afternoon we're going to be talking about WordPress and images. And my knowledge is sort of zero, so I don't have any questions. So we'll busk it as we go along. Right. Okay. How important are images in WordPress?
Well, I think, any blog it's good to have, something as a bit of light relief for your eyes kind of thing. Really, you want something that suits what you're talking about, and can actually really enhance what you're writing about, what your blog is about and everything. So it's, it really breaks up the text quite nicely. It makes it easier to read, I think.
Okay. Right. Now, what about copyright images?
Okay, well, this is the really important thing that you have to be aware of are you still there, Stephen, or have you gone? He's gone. I'm going to keep talking to you about images. You've got to be really careful with where you get your images from. You cannot just go to Google and do a search for an image and find something that looks really nice and lovely and plonk that into your blog post. It's really a bad idea, because it will catch up with you sometime. And so it won't definitely, but the chances are pretty high, because people like that run these big agencies are quite hot on actually chasing after people that are using images that you don't really have the rights to use. So the thing to do is always include your copyright. If you're using an image on your blog post or web page or anything at all like that, include your copyright on there. I'm writing a blog post about all of that, so that will be on the Blog Mistress site, and that'll probably go live tomorrow now, to be honest. I was going to do it this morning, but got waylaid by a hacked client and wanting to get another website up. There's not enough hours in the day. I must get somebody else to do my blog posts for me, I think, which sounds awful. But anyway, images, sorry. Let me just move my laptop a bit. Sorry about that. I'm so terribly unprofessional with this. I don't know where Stephen's gone. He's around here somewhere. Anyway, the simplest thing to do, if you go to one of these places where you buy an image for $1 or something like photolia.co.uk is one of my favorites, because certainly they didn't used to have images that looked quite so stock. You know what I mean, the images of this shiny young person sat at a computer or an Apple Mac or something like that, and it just doesn't look like real life at all. So you want something that perhaps has a bit more character about it. I'm not suggesting shiny young people don't have character, I'm sure they do, but you know what I mean. I really am waffling now, Stephen, come back. But if you go to somewhere like Photolia or one of the others, there's loads of them, you know the ones I mean, and you can actually use. Oh, Stephen, hello.
Hello, Bob. I was just jumping in into
thank you, Stephen.
Drop back out. Cheers.
Hello, I was struggling there, but I'm so sorry. I'm waffling away here.
Yeah, you're okay. That was my end, and that was the internet.
It's these pesky kids on holiday. I blame them.
Yep, the internet usage just shot up.
I have.
Okay, which point did you cover last, Barbara?
Well, I'm just talking about where to get images from,
basically,
right, okay. Which is obviously a huge topic. And there's all sorts of places you can buy them. Can actually, if you're paying $1 for an image, or pounds for an image. By the time you've actually hunted down something, it's probably worth it.
Yeah.
So you want to do something that's quick. Bear in mind you could spend all day looking for images, and I have done in the past, many years ago, when it was less easy to actually track down images to use, or when they were very expensive, because you do need to make sure that you're allowed to use the images, basically. And there's a good few places that you can do it. If you don't want to pay for anything, there is a service called PhotoPin, and that's at photopin.com. And what that does is actually, people have uploaded their images and they're happy for them to be shared. So, as long as you give the relevant credit, which is included, and it's very easy to, just copy and paste that into your post. And I will show an example of that on that blog post that I write. Then that could be quite good, and it's actually very natural. There's a lot of very natural images to use, photographs to use, that people have just decided to share, and that's actually really great. So it's very, very useful. You can of course take your own photographs and use those if you can. I took one of a little array of lint bunnies. They were only tiny ones, but they looked giant. So that was quite a good image. So I can write a nice, Easter image or a bunny image or a chocolate image, or a chocolate post or something like that, using that photograph. Because of course, if you're blogging, then using your own photographs, you can put those onto Instagram to attract attention round to your blog.
Yeah.
So all of this thing, if you can take your own photographs, great. And the image doesn't have to be exactly relevant. It can just sort of be suggestive of, or something that fits.
Yeah.
It wants to kind of just fit with the post.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the old days, I used to just put an image in because it was an image. And nowadays, of course, the quality of the blogs has gone up, and now you're effectively expected to put a professional image in there. And before I come to the question that's just popped in, what about image editing? What sort of software is available to take an image and crop it and what have you?
I haven't looked around to see what the latest best ones are, but if you do a Google for image editing, or something like that, then just use that, because indeed you don't want to post up this image that's 5,000 pixels wide, because that will really slow your blog down. So
right.
You want to make it smaller.
That brings us on to size, doesn't it? The size of an image is crucial, isn't it?
It can be. I mean, it adds up. You can there's plugins for everything. There is a plugin that will actually optimize the image and cut it down so that it's not using up the resources. But it's best to just upload a smaller image in the first place. I mean, I generally will upload something that's 500 pixels wide, and then use the medium version of that. But if your theme, if your design wants to, has something on the home page which needs to be so wide, like 750 pixels wide, you do want the image to be that wide, otherwise it will not look as good at all, potentially.
Right.
So do be aware of what your theme wants, and can use, because a lot of them, on the homepage you have this lovely big image on front and center, or indeed there's a site I'm working on at the moment where we're going full width, so that original wants to be 1600 pixels wide. But again, you want to be very careful, because that it all starts to slow the blog down, and Google doesn't like that. So, well, visitors don't like that. Never mind Google. The visitors don't want to wait for ages.
True. Right. Okay. Now we've got a question. I've got a question from Maya, which I'll move across to the open seat, and I shall read it to you. How do people get to your blog from Instagram with no links to?
I haven't played with Instagram much yet. I've only just discovered it since I've got an iPhone myself, and I can take a photo and upload it, and off it goes, and then it goes to Facebook, and it can go to Twitter, which is great. And I haven't really taken it any further. So I don't know is the answer to that, but I will find out.
Okay.
So I will find out and include that in the blog post. How's that? Or in a separate blog post even. So I shall do that for you. I think can be something that you can easily include on your blog. So like I've just done a client who does a website, and it's all about food and eating out and things like that. So she will be out and she will take a photograph of the meal, upload that to Instagram. That automatically updates the feed on her site. So it adds a bit more interest to that. It's not that people are going to follow through unless she includes some kind of link or something that actually sends people that way. So I don't know yet just how much use it can be. I think it can be like Pinterest. It can be like a nice extra, a nice way to refresh and update and have something new showing up on your blog, to have an easy way to have some visual interest on there.
Yeah. So if you built a following on Instagram, then dropping a link once every so often would be acceptable.
If you're allowed to do that, I don't know what you're allowed to do yet. So, but we will. I will actually. We were talking. Was it on your Facebook feed, Stephen, this morning?
Yeah.
And there was Schrodinger's code, or
indeed.
And I shall do one for websites because I hate that time before you show the client the website.
Yeah.
And until that time, it's a Schrodinger's website, and I would do a little graphic, a very simple graphic of Schrodinger's website. What you do is you include your own website link underneath. So it'll say blogmistress.com underneath, or Nimble Digital.
Right. Schrodinger's code is code that exists but hasn't been tested yet, so nobody knows whether it works or it doesn't.
I know. I love that.
Yeah, and just as an aside, speaking to John this morning, who is a fellow website maestro.
Don't mention WordPress and John in the same sentence.
No, we did this morning. I don't know, but no, what he did, he just talking on the uses of Blab. He has a client who he would have to travel to take his tablets and show him the videos, and he said, "Let's meet up on Blab." Yeah, and he played his videos on Blab with him and his customers sat in the seats, and they talked about it.
Wow,
it was brilliant. So
an
extra use of Blab is to start a Blab, bring your contacts in here, and then you can bring a YouTube video in and play it, and it can be business related. So another use case there for Blab.
Yes, I can see all sorts of ways, because I quite like it. Feels very easy, and it feels more nimble than the what's the other one? The Google Hangouts.
Oh yeah.
Although they can be private, so that's the only thing. It'd be nice if we could have private Blabs.
Well, essentially, there is no functioning search function on Blab. So you can start a Blab now and nobody knows about it. So effectively... Would
your followers not see it or something like that?
Only if they've got notifications set, and only if you send out a message to them. When I came in here, it said, "Do you want to message your followers?" And I said, "No." Well, no, I said yes because I want to see this one, but I could have.
Thanks, Stephen.
Sorry, it's all right. I could have just ignored it, and in that case, it'd just be, a very small audience. So Blab can be private. Right now,
that's good to know, because I can remember years ago when I started having difficulty getting out. I thought if only we could have online meetings that would really work, or online mastermind groups, because that's something I really miss, is actually going along to a mastermind group, which was incredibly empowering, but I can't get up to London very easily now. So
well, the third Thursday in every month is now Wiltshire Business Club evening, and at 7 o'clock we interview a member of the Wiltshire Business Club, and next month is Dan Knowlson, who we both know.
Oh, right.
And after,
can I join?
course you can. And afterwards, everybody who's a member of the Wiltshire Business Club and even outside there can join in the talk. Which brings us nicely, hopefully, to the only, you're not restricted to static images in the blog. You can use video, can't you?
Yes, indeed, you can embed a video, and indeed, some people like video, so it makes sense to include that. You want to work with as many people as you can, or attract as many people as you can, or different kinds of people that like different things. I can't stand watching a video. I think it takes up too much time. I'd rather just quickly scan something. But that's just me. So if you actually embed a video that you've already uploaded to YouTube, so you've got the YouTube, it's useful there, but bring it in as well. So give people the opportunity to actually watch a video too, or from Vimeo, of course, and other video hosting services are available.
Yeah, YouTube obviously is the largest and is free, totally free. Vimeo is good until they decide that you're a business, and there's semi-true of a couple of the sites, and then they make it chargeable and restrict you. So if I was going to put a video in my blog, it would come from YouTube, because it's easier. They give you the embed code, don't they?
They do with Vimeo as well. This one client I'm hopefully finishing off today, he has lots of videos on Vimeo, and the embed code is there, and you can adjust it and all this kind of thing. So that is good.
Yeah. I think it can bring blogs to life, but as you say, half the people will love it, and half the people will just read through the blog and then just move on. I've had some hits from embedded Blab blogs, so it does attract an audience. Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, you get the viewing figures on YouTube. You can see whether it's come from the YouTube hosting or from an embedded.
Yeah.
The blabs that I'm doing on here are getting between 50 and 100 views on YouTube, because I embed them in blogs afterwards, which I should do with this one as well. Right, if anybody has any questions for Babs, then please do ask them. If you want to come live on air whilst we're recording, you're also welcome to do so, and we'll answer your questions. It's not restricted. With the title of today's Blab was ostensibly images, but we're not restricted to that, are we? You answer any questions on WordPress.
Indeed, yes. I'm just trying to look for all of the draft blog posts I've got about images and all about the size and making them accessible. Basically, including some alt text, which basically says what the image is about for people who use a screen reader. Some people have used that to stuff their keywords in. Don't do that. The point of it is to tell people who aren't looking, they're hearing about the website. When it gets to your image, just say what the image is about. So, indeed, you can include whatever's relevant about it, about the blog. So, but don't sort of say say it was about chocolate cake. You don't put chocolate cake, silly things like that. Sorry, I've got chocolate on the brain now. I blame my daughter. She's given up chocolate for Lent, and she's done so well.
Right. Okay. Right, now, of course, you've got images, which are photographs, images, which are YouTube, and then you've got graphics and graphic design, because you want to design logos for your website, and you want to design possibly static graphics to go with the blog.
Yes, indeed. Obviously you can use a graphic designer for things, or this is if you don't have something yourself to use. I mean, I've been using Fireworks for donkey's years, and so I can quickly throw something together quickly. But not everybody has that. That wants to even get involved with something like that or do something simple like that.
I was of that mind. and then I'm going to do a bit of advertising here, not for you or I, because we don't advertise, but other than by our very presence. 6 months ago, I interviewed Craig Carpenter of RelayThat.com. Now, I've got to admit, I'm graphically challenged. If you ask me to draw something, you've no chance. You wouldn't recognise it after I've drawn it. But Relay That takes a totally different approach. It assumes that you have no graphics knowledge or even graphic capability, but you know a good picture when you see it. And Relay That is provides a set of pre-formatted images, and the images can be to fit on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you want, show cards, event cards, everything. And you can take a base layout within Relay That, and you can just drop your images and your text into it, and you can feckle it, and you can sort of change it the way you want it. I've been using that on the Blab show cards for the last month or so, and there's been an improvement on my originals.
I'm just looking at the it's only $8 a month, for goodness sakes. That's nothing, is it?
That's right.
Or $12 if you pay month to month.
Indeed. I mean, you can try it out with the free version, free trial, and the only thing with that is you get a little logo, Relay That, in the corner of the picture. But $8 a month, or 90. I think if you go into Blab Nation, they've got a discount code which gives you 20% off. Just saying. But that's one place where you can design graphics. If you are graphically challenged like me, and you come up with, or even
it may well, it'd probably be simplest for me and quicker for me to just go ahead and use that, because I'm not a graphic designer. I don't design. I put things together.
Yeah.
But that looks like a really nice, and that looks like it's very professional. You get something that's very professional, and that's what you want, isn't it? It has to look good.
You also find that Craig later today will be a member of Blabbing for Britain on Facebook. So we can always ask him as well. But he's got his own Facebook group for Relay, and he's very helpful. They come up with 2 or 3 templates a day most days.
Wow.
So
I shall have a good play with that.
Yeah, I recommend it to anybody who wants to get graphics anywhere, be it in blogs or
and it sizes.
No,
it just does
right.
Resize for a Facebook header. Isn't that wonderful?
The magic is this. I forgot the magic bit, which you just reminded me of. If you design for Facebook, there's a little button at the bottom which you can press, and it will give you all the sizes for Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, you name it. It will give you the correct sizing, your layout in the correct sizing, and you just download it and use it.
Excellent.
Royalty free.
Right, that actually is going to save loads of time. Definitely use something like that, because that's the thing with a lot of these things. Yes, we can do them ourselves. We can spend hours hunting for a free image. But something I was saying while you were away is, just pay £1 and buy an image off of Photonio or something, if that's what works for you. Because it will save you at least that much in time. So
and just whilst we're on getting images, Stephen, you posted a link this morning. Could you post it again, please, for images? It's not one I'd heard of before, and is perhaps one we could both look at. We could actually try and drop it into the seat. We'll see what happens. There we are. Okay, see, that's the magic of Blab. Unsplash, free high resolution photos. Stephen was talking about it this morning.
One thing to always do, though, if you're going to use free images, and there are a few sites that do, and that looks really good as well.
Yeah.
Make sure that you include the credit on there, so that in 5 years' time, you can go back and say, I got that image from there.
Yeah.
So that if that image is bought or licensed by one of the big guys, they're not going to suddenly come after you. Or if they do come after you, you could say, this is the credit, this is where I got it from. I actually have a client at the moment. We used an image. I don't know how many years ago. I do know how many years ago, but I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It's a great image, But there were no rights. We couldn't find any rights or anything, and we used it. And it's a nightmare now. Trying to actually get them off of our backs and say, look, we use this from a site which allows such things, but of course we can't actually prove that. The fact that thousands of other people are using the exact same image doesn't matter. But always always ignore it. It's so easy not to just quickly pop an image on there and say, well, I got it from this site. Well, what if that site doesn't exist in 5 years' time? You have to be careful.
Yeah, very true. It can come back and bite you. But if you paid for it, then come what may, there's no comeback on you.
Used a free one, so just always, something from Unsplash, or what used to be Stock Exchange, sxc.hu, which now actually goes through to another site. I actually put some images up onto there to share myself, but I've taken them off because I don't want people to get caught by it, to be honest. They weren't that good. They were like sliced carrots or something, some images I'd done for a catering firm. So, but anyway, yes, always include the acknowledgement, the credit.
All right. Okay.
That's all I'll say on that.
Very good. What about plugins to help with images?
Oh goodness, well there are plugins that do everything but make the tea, unfortunately, or coffee.
Yeah,
I could do with one of those. Like I say, there's one that there's one that can regenerate your thumbnails. So if you change your theme or something like that, all of a sudden your images are all the wrong size. So there's one that will regenerate thumbnails. You just do a search for that and find those. And there's one that I loaded for a client who they upload lots of big images and don't know to make them smaller. And I've sort of explained, but they don't have the capability. So I've just installed something that will actually handle that and try and keep the load down from web pages so that it doesn't slow everything down too far.
That's it. I mean, sorry.
You have all sorts of things, galleries and sliders and all this kind of thing, which, if you're going to have a slider, then have a good play and a good look to see what works for you on that.
Yeah.
Only have it if it's going to earn its keep.
One of the difficulties for WordPress is to a large extent do it yourself. And you can learn as you go along and pick things up. One of the problems, though, is aligning images within a WordPress blog. If you want to put one image, you just say, right, okay, I'll have an image and it's either left, right, or center. You can do that. But if you want more than one image aligned on a line, then it's difficult.
If they will both fit within the width, so say you want to put 2 images up, and they are the combined total of those images and any padding that might be involved as well, any space. If they will fit within it, if you just have no alignment, they should sit side by side.
All right.
So you don't align left and you don't align right or center. And let me see what it's actually called specifically. Okay. Let me slow down. It's my boy downloading a game upstairs, actually. Okay. Yes, there is the option for no alignment.
No alignment, and when you've got the space, then you can jiggle things about. Well, I've learned something there. You see, just by discussing around the topic. Look for 3 or 4 photos in a line on my future blogs.
Excellent.
If they fit. Yeah.
So yes, it's always worth doing to make sure that you align. If you want the text to wrap around, make sure you align left or right, and it will.
Yeah, I used to get text wrap around by accident.
Perhaps that's a default setting that you have on.
Yeah.
So give me a shout, I'll have a peek.
Okay, that's good. You see, this is the wonder of it, because my blog, stephenjhealy.com, is hosted by your good self. Then anytime I cock it up, or have a question, I can come and ask you. And
You can, but you actually
magically
just
sort of
it off yourself, don't you?
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, having a go at doing your own blog is a joy. I mean, I'm now at a stage where I'm doing 3 or 4 blogs a week, and I'm quite enjoying it because it gets the word out there. Because I use it to promote the Blab shows and to give the background to the Blab shows as well.
Do you find that you've actually got into a habit of it, and so it's easier to write them?
I have, as you the more, I mean, they're all along the theme of it is easier. Yeah, you sort of, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, done. You know,
Yeah.
it's coming up with words is still as difficult as it ever was, but the format of the blogs over the last 5 months has been sorted out. And then we start promoting it, and perhaps that can be the topic of our next blab, promoting your blog.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Now, one of the things that we've done today is that we've started the Facebook group Blabbing for Britain, which Babs is a member, and Skip's a member, and Stephen's a member, and Angelica's a member. And we're using that to promote the Blabs and what we're doing on Blab. So that's the advertisement. If you haven't been invited, then please do knock at the door and join us, because we won't just be promoting Blabs that John or I do. We're helping everyone to get their own Blabs going and promote Blabs that are already being arranged. So I know that Marcus and Kevin have got Blabs, and they'll be posting them. And if you've not met Carlos Romero yet, Barbara, then you're in for a treat, because I enjoyed interviewing him twice, and he is a great guy. He's an avant-garde artist and DJ and musician and all-rounder, and he was one of the first guys on Blab, so he's been here since the early days, so we look forward to using his expertise. Right, does anybody have any questions about images on WordPress? Okay, now I know it's been a bit disjointed, Barbara, and my apologies for that too, because my internet disappeared and we had the fun getting going. But is there anything that you feel we haven't covered so far?
Oh, well, what do you mean on images?
Yes.
There will be dozens of things, but
Oh,
you know, I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Okay.
There's all sorts of things, you know, but I think basically do try to use images, because you know it does sort of breaks the text up. I mean, if you've got something that's really lengthy and somebody hasn't got images in it, oh, you think, oh, you know, I really can't be bothered to read through all of that, because you know we allocate so little time to everything now. We just don't have time for stuff.
That's true.
So it can sort of break things up and you know, entice people to read down, and you know, that all works. It all does make a difference. So
yeah.
You know, it's definitely worth doing. And some people just like to look at the image. You know, they think, oh, that's, you know, that's something I'd want to find out more about. And so, no, I don't think, you know, I mean, I think you kind of either use them or you won't really. So just know that pretty much anything you might want to do with it, you can, as with anything in WordPress, or certainly most things. 95% of what you might want to do, you can do. So.
Yep, that's good. Yes, indeed. And experiment.
Yes, have a play with it. You can always take things off, and you know, change things, replace images, or anything. You know, that's the great thing about it, is just get stuck in. Just, you know, if you're not sure, well, you should take regular backups anyway, but take a backup before you play with it, and then you can restore if you want to.
Right.
Or if you need to, if you do break it by any chance.
Indeed. Would you like to place a link to your website in the right-hand corner?
Well, I'm a bit embarrassed to, really, because I haven't blogged on there for so long.
Oh.
And I really must. And actually, I've just, you know, got an assistant starting working with me, and he's been really.
Oh, brilliant.
And I'm actually going to do more blogging. I'm going to get to do some more blogging on Blog Mistress about WordPress things. So, as well as on my other site for internet marketing things.
Wonderful.
So,
look forward to more of that.
I shall enjoy that. I love.
Right. Thank you. Do you want to say thank you to everybody, and then we'll switch off the
Of
recording?
course, yes. Thank you all very much for coming. I can't work out how many people are here. I think there are some people here. But thank you very much to Stephen as well for helping out with things as well, and for that, and for relay that. So I think I shall have great fun with that. That'll be perfect, and again save me time, because once you get in the habit of doing something one way, like I've been using fireworks for years because I can't get on with Photoshop, and I just always go and do that. I sort of sometimes think it must be an easy way of doing it. And lo, there it is.
Right. Okay.
So,
and I've learned about no align, which I should probably have known about from day one. And if we can take one thing away from the shows we watch on Blab, then job done. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to switch off.
Very much.
Thank you.